Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new interview for you for your Wednesday midweek episode here, and this is going to be a really, really fun one. I am super excited because this is actually a local guy, a hometown hero here, you can say, here close to home, and has a great landscaping company, and I can't wait to get into more of Jose's story today, but it's going to be a really fun time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and supporting us along the way. It means a lot, and the show's growing. We're doing very healthy right now, and we're very appreciative of that. We are rocking and rolling, man. I'm back out in the field for the most part all the time, working on hiring another guy right now to train him, and just working myself back out at the field and delegate. And that's actually what we're going to get into today a lot. We're going to get into a lot of delegation and how Jose has built his company, and he's actually not in the field really the majority of the time. So without any further ado, let's bring him in. Jose Betancourt, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How are you, Jeremiah?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Fantastic. We were just talking right before we hit record. You out getting a late night. We're doing this late night, and you're out getting a quick pump in the evening. So I got mine in the morning. You do yours in the evening. You were saying that you just don't feel as productive in the morning.
Yeah, it takes a big hit on you waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, getting an hour or two workout in, and then having to go out and work or do something else. You know, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's not for the faint of heart. That's 100% certain of that.
True.
How early do you wake up now? So do you sleep in a little bit?
No, I don't. No, I don't sleep in. I'm up by 6:30 or 7. I'm still up pretty early.
Yeah.
I'm still productive.
You're just not exerting your body super early.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that 100%. Man, I went and I got to the gym about 5:30 this morning, and it's like it's nice because you're like you're saying, once you're out of the bed, this is the way I am. I don't know if maybe somebody else out there is like this, but once I'm up and out of the bed and going, then I'm good. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to get up and going, and once I'm going, I'm good. I'm rocking and rolling. But getting out of the bed is the hardest part, I feel like. And,
it is. I mean, that's what I did when I was waking up at 4 in the morning. I would hit snooze a lot, but then there was a point where I was just, as soon as I heard the alarm, I forced myself to get up, because if I did that, I knew I was gonna go to the gym and not fall back asleep. So
yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to look at it, man. Well, yeah. As much as I would like to, this is not a fitness show here today. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and owning your own landscape company, which is something that you're doing and doing pretty successfully. And I want to hear some more about it. So, like I said, Jose's local to me. He's right down the road. We refer work to each other a pretty good bit. Just like I said, we're 15, 20 minutes away from each other. And so I know a little bit about your company and kind of, and how it operates now, but I don't really know the full inception story, the growth story, how you got started and things like that. So let's just kind of jump into it. Let's walk down that road, share your story with what's the name of the company, how did it get started, and then just what's the journey been to get to where you are today?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jeremiah. So let's get to the roots of this. So I started this fresh out of high school. At first, it was a side hustle. So I'm with J Landworks. So I have a partner. His name's Jesus. So depending on the person you ask, sometimes it's Jose and Jesus. If you ask him, it's Jesus and Jose. So depending on the person you ask. So we started off by mowing yards. Actually, it was just a side hustle after I graduated during the summer. And after I cut 1 yard, I got another customer, and then realized you can make pretty good money by just mowing someone's lawn. And it felt great because no one told me how to do it or what to do. So the fact that I made my own money by myself felt really rewarding. And that's when I started to expand and, start looking for more yards. I had no experience. Obviously I cut my parents' house, but I never picked up a weeder until I finally got my first yard. So I actually learned how to weed eat on a customer's yard. So that was actually pretty fun. And over time, as we decided to expand and become a bigger than a bigger thing than just a side hustle, we took a risk and decided to get a skid steer after we had some money saved up. And this was pretty scary because when you buy a machine that costs 80 to $90,000, it's pretty much gambling with your money. Everything in life is a risk, but to me, this felt bigger than that. Something went wrong, we didn't get work. I had a $90,000 liability. Um, but man, we took the risk together, my partner and I, and I think that skid steer purchase was the best thing that we've ever done as far as business goes. And I'm super thankful we both decided to do that because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we are now. So that really did open a lot of doors for us. And keep in mind, this was all happening. We were 19 years old. So we started the business at 18, bought the machine at 19. I'm 21 now, and it's thankfully I'm super blessed, I would say. I have my family now, have a daughter. Um, and ever since we got that machine, we've now gotten an F-350. We gotten a flatbed trailer, a dual tandem. We got a massive dump trailer. We have 3 mowers. We have 5 guys working for us. And then we recently just bought another Bobcat track loader, but we got the MT100. We actually picked that up yesterday, and I just feel super blessed, man.
Is that your first mini skid?
It is.
Have you been renting mini skids? Or have you just been using the full size?
Just the full size. Whenever I picked it up, I had no idea how to operate it.
The full size?
Yeah, both. Like the both. So
Yeah.
whenever I picked up the Bobcat, the T770, I never had operated a Bobcat till I picked it up.
Oh my goodness.
It was the same thing with the trailers, with the goosenecks. I've
Yeah.
never driven a gooseneck trailer.
Yeah.
The first time I drove it, it was off the dealership lot.
Man, that's crazy. You learn as you go. I mean, that's
Yeah,
proof's in the
that's
pudding right
exactly
there.
how you do it. Yeah,
Well, man, okay, so that's news to me. I didn't even know you had a business partner. I guess that makes sense. The J&J Landworks. So is that still a
correct.
thing? Are you? Did you? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, it is. So
Okay.
yeah, he's a lineman. He works for a line company, so he only works when he can, but he still has 50% ownership in our LLC.
Oh wow. Okay, I did not know that. So how has that been? I mean, can you hit on that much? Can you say much about it? Like, how was that? People ask about partnerships a lot. Like, how do you do it? Is it a good idea? I mean, how has it worked for you?
So it helps me a lot because in this case, I have someone that I can rely on when it comes to me needing someone to cover me or go give an estimate when I can't. Because as you may know, in this type of business, you can get extremely busy having to manage multiple jobs,
Yeah.
estimates, invoices, upset customers. So it does take a lot of weight off my chest because I can move some of it to him. Um, and a lot of people say go into business by yourself, don't get a partner. I think that's a great mindset to have, but with 2 people, you're doing double the work and you also can expand twice as fast. And I feel like if I didn't have him as a partner, we wouldn't be where we are now. Just a quick example. Uh, this past month, I ended up buying a brand new car, and we used a business name, and then I put myself as a guarantor.
Mm-hmm.
And we yesterday we got the MT100 under the business name, and then he's a guarantor. I probably wouldn't have been able to get the MT100 without him. So things like that come in really handy.
Yeah. Okay. So you're already building your business credit, then your business line of credit. Did you buy the full size skid with the business, or did you use personal at that point? I know that was early on.
So since that was at 19, I don't think anybody would loan a 19-year-old $90,000.
Yeah.
So what my dad did, thankfully, he ended up taking the risk too
Oh
and
wow.
signing for it
Yeah.
because he has good credit.
Yeah.
Um, So we ended up getting that machine through him and wrote it off as an expense under the business, which helped us out a lot.
Man, that's awesome. That is huge having somebody in your corner like that to be able to
Yeah,
go to bat with you, and that really can propel you. It's good
yeah,
that
it
you have
can.
a good community right there around you that's helping you grow. So, when y'all first started, though, let's go back to the beginning. Y'all were just mowing, right? Just mowing grass.
Yes, that is true.
How long did it take y'all to start like expanding into other services? Because did you rent equipment for a while before you bought the full size skid? What was that process of transitioning into more landscaping look like? Because I know you at that point you were probably in the field, right, cutting a lot of grass, and your partner as well, I would assume.
Yeah, and that's exactly how we started off. So, it takes about a year. Well, I would say 8 to 9 months of just mowing and doing, some mulch, bushes, stuff that, can easily be done. And it was just him and I. The first couple of months, we were pretty, I would say, done with our money because we would mow a yard, we would get paid cash or Venmo. And then as soon as we finished that yard, we would say, hey, you have 50% of it, I have 50% of it. So we would just go spend that money. But it got to the point where we saw that we could really make a business out of it. And we started to put money into an account and just save up our money.
Mm.
And we started off by using our parents' lawnmowers, their weed whackers. We didn't even have a trailer. I had a friend that had a trailer that he let us borrow, and we were just using that. So it was we started from borrowing tools, so that really did help us out. And eventually, whenever we started expanding, before we bought the skid steer, we started doing somewhat hardscapes, I would say. We started building like raised garden beds with blocks and stones. But of course, we actually let the customers know that we had zero experience. So we bid it low and they gave us the opportunity, and it turned out well. And that was, I think, a turning point for us because if we could make a customer trust us with zero experience, imagine what we could do with tons of experience.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally get that. That's really cool that you just started. This is such a cool story. Like you started with nothing and just built as you went. That's what is really intriguing to me. So we've had conversations here and there, and you don't really know, like you've admitted to me, you don't really know how to do as far as like all the landscaping stuff y'all are doing now. You don't really know how to do every single bit of it, but you've hired a team around you who does know how to do that, correct?
Exactly. That is very true.
So what would that go back to the time of when you started hiring people? What did that look like? How did you decide your first guy to bring on, your first employee that wasn't your partner, and then like was it somebody that you were you wanting to train somebody? I mean, obviously they had experience, or at some point you got guys that have experience. What does that whole hiring process and delegation process look like for you as you've built the company the last 5 years?
Yeah, so whenever we got the machine, we continue to do, jobs with it like grading, uh, gravel spreading, sod work. And we started getting some help part-time from some workers that my dad knew and he referred them to us. And they would help us on the weekends and stuff like that. And eventually I saw that these guys worked. Um, I decided to give them a full-time opportunity because as we did more and more jobs, our name just started expanding and growing. And as far as the hardscapes and the decks and everything, I just told the customer, give us a shot. I gave them a good price. I wasn't extremely high and I wasn't low. I was just in the middle. And I said, I would love you to trust us by getting this done. And I said, we will warranty it for you and we'll make sure it's right and we won't leave until it's right. They trusted us. We did jobs. I remember our first hardscape job was a flagstone patio in Mountain Brook. It was a massive job we did, and it turned out 10 times better than what we expected. But I put that trust into those workers that we had hired. They told me they've worked with rocks before and they'd never showed me any work. But one thing that I did do is I hired a temporary guy that I knew he had experience in working with flagstone and, boulders and stuff like that. I hired him to make sure that my guys were doing the right thing.
Mm.
And as he was watching them supervising, he was correcting things. He was just, helping them out. And that trained my guys. So by hiring a professional, it cost me a good bit of money, but I thought of it as investing into the future. So now my guys do everything by themselves. I just go paint the jobs, show them the scope of work, and they know exactly what to do. And I think that really that helped me was investing into someone that is a professional that taught my guys what to do.
Did you find somebody, just like a random guy that was able to go out there and help him, or was it somebody who worked for another company? What did that look like?
So this may sound bad on a podcast, but I found someone that was working for another company,
Yeah,
but that company is massive and they work just Monday through Friday.
yeah,
So I would have to pay this guy like $300 to $400 just to supervise on Saturday and Sunday. So he was getting paid to watch and teach,
mm,
but I think those were like the best $300 to $400 we spent, and apart from our machines and stuff,
yeah.
because that taught my guys what to do.
I would argue it's way more beneficial than even the money you spend on the machines, because without that guy being there, the machines would do no good. They
Exactly.
wouldn't know how to do all that stuff. And so, no, that's really good. I think that's really cool that you can go and find somebody else in your local community that maybe they do work for another company. You're not trying to get a full time job out of them. It's just they can come feed and sow back into you, and now like they get to see the fruits of their labor and what they've learned over the years. Now it's given back, and now a company is running because of it, and that's really cool. I think that y'all could always have a special bond over that. Do y'all ever stay in touch anymore, or is it just kind of a one-time deal?
No, we stay in touch. I always check in on them and ask how their family's doing, making sure that they're fine. I think that it's a good relationship we have with them. If I ever needed them for a larger job, I'm sure I could, reach out and they would,
Yeah.
help out. So it's a good relationship we still have. We don't see each other, on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
but we're on good terms.
So, well, man, let's hop into a little bit more of the landscape here. So, you hire these guys. How many guys did you start with? Did you start with just like how many guys did you hire at one time?
So it was just two guys starting out. So you know how we did these saw jobs. Obviously with sod you need a good bit of people in my opinion.
Yeah.
You need someone on the machine, you need someone, spreading the soil with the rake, and then you need one guy throwing the sod, one guy laying it. So it's a whole
Yep.
team. So obviously one guy could do one pallet, but the jobs we were getting were above, 6 or 7 pallets. So these part-time helpers eventually turned into full-time workers. Sometimes I would have 6 or 7 part-time guys helping on, large jobs. But I didn't see something big in them like I saw with these two workers.
Yeah.
So I reached out to them, offered them a great pay. Unfortunately, they left their previous employer with a 2-week notice, of course, and came to me. And ever since then, I've had these guys since, and we've just been, knocking these jobs out, job after job.
So when you did that, were you at a point where the business, like you were booked out a super long ways, or was it one of those things where it was kind of a risk taking those guys on? Did you have the work, or I mean, what did that process look like? Because I know that's a big thing for guys that are looking to hire. Is like, well, you need to hire. You're in a tough spot because you need to hire. You're busy enough for one person, but you don't know if you're quite busy enough for two people. So you mess around and you don't make the hire, and then you just work yourself to death, and you get burnt out on the business, and then you just turn into a downward spiral. So were you already booked out like super far, or were you taking a risk on hiring them and just hoping the job board filled up?
So I'm gonna be honest, it was a risk, because I think after I hired them, if I'm correct, we had one job after that, and then just regular lawn mowing. That was
Wow,
all we
yeah,
had. So it was a big risk because I guaranteed them work for at least 6 months.
yeah,
Because obviously when you hire someone from a small company, you're gonna ask, is there consistent work? Stuff like that. What are the hours? And I had to lie and tell them we have work for the next 6 months. So it was hard because I knew that these guys just left a job that was stable and steady and came to work for me. So now in return, I had to go advertise. I had to go, offer one of my clients, hey, if you give me a review on Facebook or Google, I'll knock $5 off your next service. Stuff like that allowed me to, grow and expand to give them more work. Um, there was a short period in time, I think it was 1 month, where we just were super slow. I didn't pay myself that entire month because I wanted to make sure that they were paid for every single hour they worked. It sucked, but I'm super glad I did it because they're still with me today and they saw our struggles. They saw us come up. It was a big risk we took by hiring them, and I'm just glad that, everything worked out the way it did.
Oh yeah, if you're in the growth process or you've been through the growth process, then I feel like you never make it through that unscathed without like at some point during that process, your employees are going to make more than you make in a month. There's just going to be
Yeah.
there's going to be a time when that happens, and you do that though to like you're saying to keep your team built the way that you know you want it to be. If you have key guys that you want to hang on to, then it's like, hey, is it worth the $5,000 or $3,000 that you pay yourself or whatever amount it is? Is it worth that? Like I can sacrifice, we can get by, but these guys need this money. Like they have to have this if you want them to show up. So now
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Now as you've moved on, now you I feel like you're staying pretty booked out, right? I mean, you're pretty busy. I see a lot of the work in your area, in our area. You're doing a lot. You're staying busy. You've obviously added guys on. Now you're a team of 5. So the last couple of years, how has that progressed as far as like your name getting out there, just building a reputation, doing bigger projects, and now having even more guys on the team to be able to knock these out?
Yeah, so obviously, whenever I first started out and we got the machine, I would do a lot of advertising on Facebook, Instagram, social media. And as that was getting me some jobs, it wasn't getting me all the jobs. Our field is, I wouldn't say competitive because we're all just making a living. But again, it's the right term to use in a way because it's so many people trying to make a living from it, because it's a easy thing to start, but it's a hard thing to maintain.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so I started off, with the advertising, and it got to the point within the last year and a half, I would say, that a lot of the jobs we get are either referrals or the same customers just trying to get more work done. And I think the last 6 months, I would say, I haven't made many advertising posts, and we're pretty booked out. We're about a month and a half booked out right now on 3 or 4 decent sized landscape jobs, not including, lawn maintenance. We still add new clients as for lawn. So we're trying to not stop picking up lawns, but sort of start raising our prices on them. That way we can sort of balance it out.
Yeah, become hyper. If you're going to keep the lawn maintenance, do it at a pace where you're super high profitable.
Yeah.
How many guys do you have mowing right now?
So it's 2 guys. So I got 2 guys mowing, and then I have 3 guys doing the installs.
Okay.
I think that's really efficient because this keeps, we can knock not 10 to 12 yards out with these 2 guys. They work their 8 hours and they're off.
Yep.
And then my hardscape guys, my installs, they work about 9 hours a day. So they're getting their hours in, which is great.
Yeah, 100%. Now, as you've grown, do you use any type of software to help you? Are you still pen and paper guy? Like, how does that process work as far as like your estimating and bidding and job scheduling and things?
So I'm pretty sure a lot of people have used QuickBooks. Super easy, super simple. We use it. We were using it for payroll for a year and a half or so, but the fees were just pretty crazy. But we still use it for estimates, invoices, adding customers and stuff like that. But for payroll now, my accountant does it for us. I just text them Sunday night, here are the hours for the week, and they get paid, I think, Monday or Tuesday. So super simple. I think that's how we do it right now. And then as far as scheduling lawns, the way we do it is we use Excel, make a spreadsheet, and then we put the addresses in order. So it's sort of pretty good routes, and that way we get them knocked out fairly quick.
Yeah, no, man, that's all, dude. It's whatever works. Like, especially when you get started, and if you find something that works when you get started, then most of the time that's what you stick with. It's time to get you. We got to get you over to Synced Up or something though, for when you do these bigger jobs. It'll take your estimating game to the next level. You'll be putting estimates together in no time. But that is all part of the part of the growth process, I think, and that's something that I'm going through right now, is just trying to figure out what the best systems are for me to put in place to be as efficient and as profitable as we can, because that's the thing, is how have you maintained profitability? I mean, you're still, I feel like you're still in growth mode, honestly, because even though you have 5 guys, like, you just bought a new mini skid, you're still investing into the business, obviously. So what is it? I mean, how have you maintained profitability at this point?
So the business is profitable, but as far as I'm getting compensated and my partner's getting compensated, I wouldn't say we're making tons of money. And the reason why I say that is because there's weeks where I don't pay myself
Mm-hmm.
because I'd rather use that money to reinvest. And our bills are paid for every month. We haven't missed a payment, thankfully. Um, the way I'm trying to do things right now that I'm young is keep reinvesting. So when I'm older, things are easier. Once I pay off our debt, our truck, we pay it off in 2 years. Our skid steer, 2 years or a year and a half. We're close to that. All of our trailers are paid off. We only owe one payment on a mower, and that's it. So we have about 3 to 4 liabilities, and then we just got this MT100, so that makes it a fifth, and the car's a sixth. So 6 things we got to pay every month. It's hard and it's pretty risky, but eventually these things will be paid off. That will make us more money. That will allow us to reinvest, and then eventually be extremely profitable.
Yeah, so you're still in that. I mean, that's the growth process, man. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
everyone needs to understand, is like, you're not gonna. It's not a. Tomorrow isn't going to be your most profitable day. Like, it's going to be a couple of years down the road before you get to the point when you're building a business this way. And so that's one thing that people have to look at, is like, look how far Jose's come and how far J&J Landworks has come, because he's used debt to leverage his company to grow in the last couple of years. Now he's got these machines. That mini skid alone is going to take your profitability and your efficiency to the next, like, one step higher now.
Yeah.
Even though it's costing you money. So what are your goals when you have a full size skid? What is the purpose? What are the goals with having the mini skid? Is it just access? What is that? What does the whole process come down to?
So there's so much you can do with the big Bobcat. It's a T770, weighs 14,000 pounds, but there's things that you just can't do with it as well. Whether that's driving over septic lines or going into the backyard without taking apart their fence. So you're limited in a way. So we decided to take the risk by buying the MT100, because not only will it allow us to get into backyards, but it will also allow us to get jobs done quicker. Before we bought it, we were doing, saw jobs in backyards by hand. It would take us 2 to 3 days to do it. With the mini skid, give us a day or a day and a half, we're out of there. So just to get more accessibility, and then also advertising, I have friends that will rent it for me. I'm positive that they will. So it'll pay itself. I think that the machine is a brand new worker, that is going to get paid fairly well.
And he's going to show up every day and not let you down. That's the thing you got to look at as well. Like, you're adding a team member that's going to show up every single day. Every time you go out there to turn the key, it's going to crank. And so
Exactly.
that's a huge benefit to you. I think that it's a really good thing. Now, do you have any attachments for what all attachments are you running for maybe somebody who's looking to get into this world? Like, are you running Harley rakes? Are you just running buckets? What does that look like?
Yeah, so for our T770, we currently have a bucket, a smooth tooth, and then the bucket with teeth. We also have forks to unload pallets. Sometimes we use it for logs. We also have a grapple, because we do cut trees down. We climb them, we cut them. And then we also have a soil conditioner. That soil conditioner is a Harley rake, but Bobcat brand, which is great.
Yep.
So that allows us to, do saw jobs, 3 times as fast. So that's a positive. And then the MT100, since we just got it, it's only a bucket. We're planning on buying forks later this week, and then eventually a Harley rake for it within the next month or two.
Yeah, that's what those Harley rakes, dude. I mean, when I'm looking at mini skids right now, just very entry level, something super small, just to have a machine to be able to move stuff around. And like, I'm already looking for things that I can find for Harley rakes that I can find to put on there, because that would be 100% my most used item, I believe, because we're getting just insane amounts of sod requests right now. Like, I've never
Yeah.
gotten so many sod requests in my life, and I want to do them, but I'm having to price them a little bit higher because of the labor that it takes us right now, because we're doing everything by hand. And so we can rent machines and things, but it's like, our area, we don't have any really good rental yards. We got Home Depot to go to rent from,
Yeah.
and it's very inconvenient. Like, you have to use their trailer. You got to, so it just adds so much to the process, plus the added cost as well. So, looking at those options, but I believe a Harley rake is like game changer when it comes to doing sod, because tell me, I mean, am I mistaken? You don't really even have to do much handwork at all after that thing, right?
No, you don't. It's super quick. So the way it works is, especially with a T770, it's 84 inches. So it's a huge area that it covers. So we can, get to the area after the grass is dead, and we just if we're not putting topsoil down, of course, we just get the Harley rake, we loosen the soil, we rake it out, and then we put sod down. It's ready. But majority of the time, we always put topsoil down just for reassurance for the customer, and then we till it. And I think we can get an area prep for one pallet within 30 minutes. If it's a super easy area to get to, we can have that area prepped for sod within 30 minutes with the Harley rake.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, it takes efficiency.
Yeah.
It takes efficiency to the next level. So when you put topsoil down, you just how do you do that? What does your process look like? Because everybody does sod a little bit differently, I believe. I mean, some people don't put topsoil at all. I'm a big fan. I kind of fall either way. It depends on what I'm laying on. But I am a big fan of adding a fresh layer in there. So when you just spread the topsoil and then you just say you till it, like mix it into what's there.
Yeah, so before I passed a test, I'll explain this in a minute. Before I passed this test, I was just I would go to Lowe's, buy, those $2 topsoil bags and throw it on top of the dirt and then lay my sod. But eventually, the city inspectors and everybody was telling me that if I was to lay sod without the certain license that the Department of Agriculture issues, you could get a fine, you could get your business closed. So that was just terrible. So I ended up studying for the test. I took it 4 times and I passed it on the 4th time, thankfully. And I read so much about topsoil that it scared me to not put it down. So every time I lay sod now, I always make sure to get at least half a yard to a yard per pallet. That just assures the customer that we're doing it correctly, but it also limits my liability because we warranty all of our sod. I think that's the best thing to do is warranty your sod because it will give the customer reassurance. We've had one customer that their sod died from army worms, back I think a year or two ago. The worms were
2 years
terrible.
ago.
Yeah, the army worms killed, I think, 7 pallets worth of sod. So we lost about $6,000 to $7,000 on that job because we had to warranty it.
That's tough. I mean, do you?
Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, I agree with warranting the thing, but that's no fault of your own. So is that something that you're going to change moving forward? Like, are you going to continue to do that?
So I
If
think
something
that's
like
great
that happened
because
again.
yeah, so I before that happened, I would just say we would warranty it.
Yeah.
We would just couldn't be responsible if she didn't water it, I mean, and if a tree fell on it, we couldn't warranty it.
Yeah.
So I put acts of God. One thing that I put now is that we're not responsible for any worm damage, any works
Any
of God.
pest damage. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. We put that in the warranty information because now, ever since then, we lost all that money.
Yeah. You
But I'm
can't do that
super
again.
thankful. I'm super thankful we replaced it and lost that money because she or the customer has referred us to at least 10 to 12 other people after that. And that blew us up. We've gotten so busy because of her, and she's a realtor. So that is 10 times better, and I'm so thankful for her.
Okay, yeah. So that's good. I mean, that is customer service. That is customer service right there. It's a perfect example of, even though it wasn't something that you did, And you can take that case by case in honestly, like you probably knew, like everybody can read their customers, right? Like you know your customers when
Yeah.
you talk to somebody. You could read her and say, okay, this woman is way more of an asset to me on my side than she will be. She's gonna be way better for me than she is against me. If she gets against me, then that's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
She could take you down pretty quickly. It sounds like. I mean, realtors in our area just they have a lot of influence and a lot of pull, and so that's very good. I believe you read that situation the right way, and now you are getting, like you said, you lost $6,000 or $7,000, but how many multiples of that have you made because of that referral, because of handling the customer service? And so now you live and you learn, you move on. And Paul Jameson has a story like that. He had to go out and relay a sod. I think he had to relay the whole yard once or twice before he learned, and he realized it took him too long to realize. But you figured out the first time that it happened that now moving forward that pests are going to not like pest damage isn't covered in the warranty and things like that. And so, what does your I know I'm going to get a question about this. So, what is your water policy? Because you can say, "Oh yeah, well I'm not covering it if you don't water," but like, what kind of control do you have on seeing if they water? Like, if they don't have irrigation systems, does that come into play? Because if you're putting in a whole yard of like a whole backyard of sod and they don't have an irrigation system and you're just praying that they put a sprinkler on it and it's the middle of June, then that's pretty hard to warranty. So like, how do you go about that? Because you don't want to have miscommunication. That's the thing, and you don't really want anything that's like my word against yours. Like if she says she watered, but you get there and you're like, oh, okay, I know you didn't water because the sod is just brown. But like, how are you gonna fight that? Like the customer's always right. That's that whole statement. So what does the water policy look like for you?
So the way the warranty works, and especially the water policy, I specifically include there's times where they want to sod really shaded areas. We specifically state we're not going to cover any damaged sod in shady areas. And then as far as the watering, as soon I try to drive by the customer's house within the first 2 to 3 weeks because that's the crucial period.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm consistently driving by, observing, and there has been a time where a customer actually wasn't watering, and I could tell, and she was telling me she was watering it, but I pulled up to the house one day and I lifted up the piece of sod, and it was extremely, extremely dry. And I always send a watering schedule after we finish every job. I have a watering schedule, water in the morning and then water in the evening twice a day for these next 2 to 3 weeks. Because those are the crucial periods for sod. So it wasn't being done, and she was telling me it was being done. So eventually a section of her sod died, and I was just, I had recorded pictures and, had videos of all that stuff that I was observing. And we ended up not replacing it, because at the end of the day, you want the customer to be happy, but you also don't want them to abuse of your kindness,
Yeah, no, 100%. Did you get pushback from her on that? I could see that relationship ending not too good. I mean, what did that look like?
So she's actually still a client till this day. One thing that we did is we told her if she bought the new sod, we would take up the old sod and put this new sod down at no cost.
Okay.
So
okay, yeah, I can see that.
So we lost about a half a day of labor. So I lost about, a couple hundred, but at the same time, it made her happy because we ended up saving her money and then sort of protecting her investment.
So did she water it next time?
Yeah, she watered. Now the grass is super healthy.
Yeah. So did she argue with you about watering it? I mean, what did she say to that when you originally were like, no, you're not watering, I have this proof? Did she deny it the whole time, or did she admit that she didn't water it?
So she had a sprinkler system, and she said that she was turning on her sprinkler system every morning. But it turned out that certain area was not working properly.
That zone was messed up.
So everything else was working but that one area. So I knew that it wasn't being watered because the other areas were, when I picked up a piece of sod, you could feel under and it was pretty moist. So I knew those were getting watered. But that one area that was struggling, I knew it wasn't being hit. So that's why I didn't completely argue with her. about it because I knew that it was probably a mistake that she didn't know of.
Yeah. No, that's good. That is a perfect story of customer service right there. I hope everybody learned something from those two stories because it just shows you like what good communication will do, what good documentation will do, and it'll just take you. It can really take your business and turn it into one that a lot of people want to deal with. If your customer service is in a good spot, then I really believe that you can grow a huge name in your community like Jose is doing here in the Birmingham metro area. So, well, man, we're going on 40 minutes here. I don't want to hold you too much longer tonight. I really appreciate your time and coming on. Is there anything we've left out about the story of J&J Landworks or just like your story in general that you want to share? I know also, so on top of all this, on top of running the company and things, you're also in college, right?
Correct. Yes, I'm in college.
So when do you graduate?
So I'm supposed to graduate in May of next year, so a year from now. A lot of people ask me what my major is, and I tell them that it's information systems, and they're pretty shocked because they would think that, owning a somewhat successful business, you would major in accounting, business, or finance, but I'm not. So majoring in information systems.
What is information systems? What is that?
So it's a business side of technology, and it shows you get the fundamentals of business, but then you also get the fundamentals of technology. And the reason why I chose it is because as the world continues to evolve, technology will grow, and I do not want to be left behind. And I want to stay up to date with the world as it does change. So that's why I decided to go with that, degree.
No, that's good. I like that. I think that's a good philosophy. So, well, is there anything else we've left out that you want to share that we hadn't gotten to, or is that wrap this thing up?
Honestly, I think that wraps it up. I just feel like if for anybody listening that is considering buying a big piece of equipment or reinvesting, do it. 100% whatever you could say, I recommend it. Because that one investment can change your life like it changed ours. Take the risk, and it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think you need to definitely take calculated risk. Jose wouldn't have taken those risks if he didn't think he was going to have the jobs coming in and figure it. And no, he's going to figure it out along the way. He was devoted to the company, he knew it was going to grow. So you don't want to go out if you're just like, oh, I don't know, maybe I want to do landscaping and go buy some $80,000 machine. You got to be devoted to it. You got to be able to put in the work. You got to put in the commitment and the time to it. But I do believe that taking that investment and that leap will really help you. I can attest to that. We just got a dump trailer, and I was hesitating on size. I was like, didn't know what I wanted. I didn't really need a big one right now because I don't really have the truck to pull a big one. But I was like, I don't want to limit myself either. And so I spent the extra couple $1,000s and got the 7x14, got the big one. There
you go.
And literally the first day I used it, I was like, okay, if I would have gotten the small one, I would have kicked myself in the face. Like I would have been so mad. And I can say that 100% because it was a bigger investment. It was a couple more $1,000s to get the big one. But the logistical nightmare that it saved me just on day one was just like, it was worth every penny. It was worth every penny on one job the first day, and that thing's going to work for me for the next 10 or 15 years, hopefully. And so I'm a big believer in investing in your equipment, and it will really take care of you as long as you take care of it. So, well, where can everybody follow you or connect with you on Instagram or social media if they are interested in hearing more about your store and keeping up with what you're doing out in the field?
Yeah, if you can check us out on Instagram. We're J and J Landworks LLC. We follow Jeremiah. He follows us. Same thing on Facebook. Look us up. We plan on starting a YouTube channel soon. We have a GoPro and a drone. So once I make that channel, I'll make sure to post it, and hopefully Jeremiah shares it with y'all.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome, man. I'm kind of thinking about getting a drone as well. I think the drone shots on these jobs like this, like these side jobs and things, really takes your profile, your portfolio to the next level when you can show your customers those drone shots and things. It's a really cool addition. So, well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this episode was of value to you. I know it was if you listened in any depth at all. Jose brought a lot of good things to the table today, a lot of good, just real-life lessons and stories that he's gone through and learned in his business that I hope that you learn from and take and share with some other people out there. Maybe you know of someone else who's going through this same situation, and maybe this could be a big inspiration to them and maybe influence them this time of year. That would be huge. I know Spring Rush is rocking and rolling for everybody. I know we're already like second weekend of May, but I feel like it's not really slowing down yet. Is it the same way for you, Jose? Have y'all slowed down much?
No, I think we're getting more and more busy.
Literally, I think the same thing. I'm like, it's a great problem to have, but like, I finally got through my estimate list that were in the queue that needed to be sent out, and I finally got all the way through those. And I had one night where I didn't have to do estimates, and then tonight we're loaded back down. We got like 4 requests today, and went out and looked at 2 of them. So it's like, got a couple more to look at tomorrow and Thursday, and it's just like, well, here we go, let's do it. I love it. That's the perks of owning a business, right? And that's what we do it for. That's what we do it for. So, well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Share the show with somebody. Leave us a big 5-star rating and review if you would. That really means a lot to us and helps us boost the show so we can continue to grow the community one relationship at a time. But without any further ado, that is going to wrap this episode up with Jose, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.